I'm sorry to start this off on a sad note, but the FA Cup defeat against Brackley, has it got out of your system yet?
I think so. I think the game on Monday night will help. It was always going to be a tricky tie, and I think going over the course of the game, we didn't probably do enough to absolutely say we should have won it. But we're really disappointed. The manager's big about winning every game that we play, so we're disappointed, but all we can really do is move on and focus on the league.
Because of course, I suppose the gutting thing about it was you were twice ahead and it was in your hands, and then to concede that penalty right at the death, and then it's obviously to go out on penalties, that must be absolutely gutting.
Yeah, the penalty at the end was a real kick in the teeth. We probably thought we'd done enough to get through the tie without being brilliant, but as I say, all we can really do is now shift our focus to the league where it's most important. Really.
Well, the great thing about football is there's always another game within a few days, so Cheltenham Town, that gives you an opportunity to get 3 points. Yeah,
once the game's out was done against Brackley, the full focus was obviously Manchester United 21s, and then we've had that on Tuesday now, so the full focus turns to Cheltenham. We know that they've picked up results recently with the change of manager. We know what's going to be. We know what they're going to do, and we're just hoping that we can go down there and get a positive result.
Analysing the season so far, how do you feel it's gone?
I think it probably started off slower than we would have liked, but over the last maybe month and a half we've sort of really picked up, and I think the performances have maybe turned into results that maybe we weren't getting at the start of the season.
Yeah, sometimes you get a hangover as well, don't you, from the previous season. I'm not sure if that was the case, but you know, when you've suffered a blow like losing in the playoffs, it can sort of linger over the summer. Was there any of that at all? Or?
I wouldn't say so. I think the group that we've got and they wouldn't let that happen, and then especially with the new additions that we've got in the summer, experienced boys like Nobbs, for example, he wouldn't let that happen. But no, it's really full focus has been on this season since day one of pre-season.
Of course, it was a busy summer. Obviously, you had to say goodbye to the manager. That must have been sad because obviously he was quite a popular guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's never nice when someone loses a job in football, and especially someone that you had a good relationship with. But at the same time, we all know we're in the business. It can happen, and it's just about moving forward from that.
I'm not sure how much of a change it has been in the summer. I mean, obviously the managerial change, there's always going to be a change. Has there been a difference in the way they operate? Just give us a bit of insight.
I think maybe this club's a little bit different to other clubs at the level, that we've got a real good infrastructure, so when there is changeover, not too much changes. Of course, the manager will have his own ideas and little tweaks there, and I think if you watched us this season, you'd be able to tell what he's really big on. But nothing crazy's changed, just his personal little tweaks here and there, which have been positive.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Pattinson, obviously he's an experienced manager, has managed before. What do you think his best attributes are? What have you noticed?
I think you can say about the gaffer is he's on it every single day. It doesn't matter what session it is. It's you're full out, you're full throttle from Monday to Friday, and it's something he's been really big on, and his intensity in training. He's a big believer, train the way you play, and I think we're starting to see that.
Now, you had a torrid time with injuries. I think that's an understatement, isn't it? Just tell us about that, really. It must have been so frustrating to have picked up that injury and then been out for several months.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I'm probably the worst watcher in football. I hate being up in the stands watching my teammates, knowing that you can't really do anything about it. But since I've been back this time, touch wood, that they're all behind me, and I can hopefully kick on and play 40 plus games this season.
Yeah. What goes through your mind when you're sort of sitting there on the touchline? You just said you're a bad watcher, but you know, especially the way the season ended as well. I know you came on for the final 20 minutes in that final playoff game, but sometimes you may have those thoughts. What if? What if?
It's probably frustration more than anything. I always feel since I've been here that I can add something to the team. So when that's taken away from me through no fault of anyone's, it can be hard to deal with sometimes. But it's just knowing that if you keep sticking at it day to day, you'll get your rewards eventually, and hopefully we'll get that this season.
Now, of course, you came through the ranks at Celtic right back in the days. I want to sort of dive back into your football journey, really. Just tell us how it all started for you and how you got picked up by Celtic.
So I was maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, playing for my local boys club, Lenza Youth Club, and then as a lot of boys' stories, a scout will approach your dad, and then from 8 years old, really, it was Celtic till I was maybe 20, 21. And I absolutely loved it. It was the best upbringing a boy from Glasgow can really get, if I'm honest.
Who were the players that you were coming through the ranks with? Anyone that we know?
A couple of boys that are in English football right now, Mikey Johnson, Liam Morrison, Karen Moko-Dembele. They're probably 1 or 2 years either side of me. So played in the youth teams with them, and obviously they've gone on to be really successful.
Were you a boyhood Celtic fan? Is that your club? Or?
I grew up in a Rangers household, but I have this conversation all the time with people down here. When you start training every day with Celtic's first team, it's hard not to sort of. You see how much gets put into it, and then it's hard not to sort of sway over.
Did you not get any stick for that?
I'm saying I grew up in a Rangers household. My dad's a Rangers fan. I'm not too bothered about it. But as soon as you're at Celtic and you start progressing, you start getting closer, you get a little smell of the first team. You just end up loving it.
Yeah, and of course you had the honour of playing for them in the Europa League. You did actually play in right at the end, didn't you, of the qualifying group? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Probably was, at the time, was a bit unexpected, because round about that time, I don't know how much you know, but Celtic were going for 10 in a row. So the youth boys, we weren't really getting much involvement with the first team, and rightly so. Everything was on the line for the club at the time. But it was absolutely brilliant to play in that game, especially in Europe against top quality opposition, and I really enjoyed it.
Obviously, you've been south of the border now for 5 years. You joined Gillingham on loan, and of course, you played for a fellow Scot, Steve Evans. Yeah,
Steve Evans. I think he was close with the manager at Celtic at the time, Neil Lennon. And I remember at my first phone call that he'd watched a reserve game for Celtic against Chelsea, and since then he really liked me, and he gave me the opportunity to come play down in England in League One, which I'm forever thankful for. I think. Him personally was brilliant for me. I don't know if you know much about him, but
I know a lot about Steve Evans. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Great guy, totally honest with you, and you know what he wants, you know what he expects from you. So as a first loan, I think it was really good.
Give me a funny anecdote about Steve Evans. Seriously, everyone's got one.
Well, he's probably the loudest manager I've ever worked with. He can lose his rag sometimes at half time, but the amount of times he lost his rag at half time, then the boys got out and performed in the second half. So it obviously works.
Now, obviously at Notts County now, just tell us, what the ambitions are this season. I mean, obviously the club were gutted not to get promoted last season, and there's an expectation, isn't there, that County have got to be punching around those automatic spots. Do you sort of feel that's doable right now?
Yeah, I think when you're at a team like Notts County, especially in League Two, that it's got to be promotion. As you said, we were unlucky last year in the playoffs. We sort of let the two playoff games pass us by a little bit. But this season we're just hoping to take it game by game. Starting with Cheltenham on Monday night, and I think if we focus on our performances throughout the season, something that the manager's really big on, we'll hopefully get our rewards at the end of it.
Now, there's a lot of loud music in the background because we're at the EFL Week in Action event at Coventry City, which explains why we're at the Coventry Society Arena in the background. And Notts County do a lot of great work in the community, and of course today showcasing the work they're doing for South Asian women and girls.
Yeah, I think it's really important that all clubs in the EFL have got something like this, and especially when you come to Notts, you get made aware of it really fast. It's a real tight-knit community club, and I think with stuff like this, giving the girls an opportunity to play football where maybe they wouldn't have had, I think it's really important.
When you go to these community events, and I know Notts County do a lot of great work in the community, does it humble you in a way?
Yeah, it's a real eye-opener, stuff that maybe myself would take for granted, just playing football for a football team. You don't really think of it, but then when you come and hear the stories of the young girls and stuff, it's really good to be a part of a club that take a big interest in that, and hopefully it can benefit the girls going forward.
And just finally, in terms of yourself, injury out of the way now, you've been putting in some great performances. What's the sort of ambitions for you from a personal level?
I think it's going to be a cliche answer. All I want to do is be available for the next game. I'm really want to simplify it this year. Be available for selection from the manager the next game, and I think if I manage that, we'll have a successful season.